The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance.
Hello, everybody. It's another Tuesday evening. We're hanging out with Pinecase podcast host Kalisha Campbell, and we got West Coast Standard from 2014. Went away, came back, never really went away. Been doing some things for a hot second. Has some friends that you and I both know, like Surreal, and you hit the stage with people like Deb and the Dude, which we're going to talk about in a little while because I am absolutely jealous about that. Morgan Murray, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening on the podcast where music is our drug of choice. Darling, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So explain to me how we got here, because as a singer, like, it's kind of a different road than maybe some of the rappers from the West Coast Canadian music scene, right? I'm sure navigating that process looked a little bit different than maybe some of the friends that you were hanging out with. So bring me back all the way back to the beginning when music was something that you started to realize that you wanted to do.
So yeah, like I was mute until I was 5 years old. So I communicated through sign language, and I learned I started like speaking when I was like 5 years old. So when I started speaking, I always sang, and yeah, I've always sang. Like it's always something that I've done. I've sang since I was like a little kid. My mom sang, and she's kind of who I got my my taste of music from. So yeah, that's when it started. I always sang. Like my mom, she sang and stuff when she was younger, and I got my music taste from her. So yeah, I started singing in choir in like elementary school and like church, and then I started taking like music lessons and stuff like that. Like I play a few instruments, and what else? I played in school band when I was in grade 8. I played the flute, and then I played in my own band in high school. It was called Pacific Ways. And so I played rhythm guitar, and then I sang. I was the lead singer of the group. So we started doing shows at like the Lighthouse Bistro and like a bunch of different venues. And so I sang like covers, and then I also created some original music as well too. And my band was rather young. So at first it was like I played instruments. I always sang. My dad would always be like, "Hey, like my son knows how to sing," and like at family reunions and like other events, like at Christmas, it'd be like, "Hey, like he knows how to sing. Like he'll like sing you a song," and it was just kind of like, "Hey, my kid knows how to do this thing, and he's like pretty good." My dad was like not musically inclined at all, but he just thought it was like pretty rad, and he's always told me that it's kind of like my God-given talent. So I always just like I didn't really do like school. It wasn't like really like I had like some learning challenges and stuff. So like all I really put my time into was like making music, like writing songs and playing instruments and singing. And in high school, my friend had a studio, so he didn't know how to sing, but he knew how to rap really well, and he had a studio in his house. So I would sing choruses for him. When I started recording music when I was 16 years old. So we were doing songs with people like Evil Ebenezer and Confidential, and so we were just I would record hooks and I would sing, and that's where I began to learn how to record music. And then I eventually kind of thought like, oh, I'm singing all these like courses for rappers and stuff, and I wasn't, to be completely honest, like I listened to a little bit of like hip hop in high school, but I mostly listened to I don't know, I loved R&B and I loved pop and like rock and like funk, and so that was more my jam. And then what else? I guess then I fell in love with hip hop because I didn't really know too much about it. Like I knew like the like Nas and Biggie and Tupac and cats like that. But I didn't really know that much about it till I began becoming involved with like local hip hop ciphers in Nanaimo, and that's where I
Mhm.
met Surreal and QB. And then I started recording music with them. They got me on shows. My first like big show, I did a show with Mobb Deep when I was 19 years old with Surreal, and it was a pretty life changing moment because
Yeah.
obviously like Chip ones and like uh, and like everything else that comes with like the New York hip hop scene. Obviously, they're one of the most prolific New York hip hop groups duos of all time. So that was big for me, and yeah, that's kind of how I got into music. It was kind of like I was just a guy who sang and I played instruments and I was musically inclined. And then I was like, well, I'm like singing with rappers, so why don't I learn how to rap? So I started going to hip hop ciphers, and that's kind of my introductory into it. And then people like Surreal started introducing me to other artists and getting me on shows, and I started writing my own music. And yeah, from there was like I met I started recording like my friend John Fulton and my friend Robin Ellis, and so they had this place out in Southern Nanaimo called the Rap Shack, and so that's where I recorded my first album, Digger's Delight, and yeah, it was. Then I mean, I knew QB and we were doing tracks, but I more or less the first introduction was like John Fulton, Robin Ellis. They went by Cynic and oh my god, and Karma, and so yeah, they were just incredible human beings. They invited me into their home and they had a studio. So I recorded with Cynic, Karma, QB, Surreal, and that's initially how I got into recording music. And then yeah, basically
What
that was my intro.
the way that it's you just talk about it so casually, like it's like, oh yeah, this is just how we got here. I mean, obviously it's your story, but it's one hell of a
Mm,
flippin' story. Like, that's amazing. I can't even imagine what it felt like sharing the stage with Mobb Deep at that age. Like, some of us were just trying to some of us were just trying to get our first jobs and, like, deal with, like, a car payment our first car payment maybe or something like that, or, like, I don't know. But,
yeah.
like, what did that feel like? Like, when did you find out that that was gonna be happening? Because so to go from being in the studio, I mean, Confidential is another big name anyways, both everybody is, but
Hmm.
to go from, like, that
Yeah.
space to being like, "Hey, we're gonna hit the stage," like, that must have been insane.
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal. It was a life changing moment. Like, um, being someone who wasn't like I was like semi involved in the hip hop scene, but I mean, obviously, they have a major influence on hip hop. They always have. Like, I'm incredibly excited. Like I don't know if you heard, but so Havoc, he had a bunch of unreleased verses from Prodigy. Obviously, I did the show with Havoc and Prodigy, Mobb Deep before Prodigy passed away.
Mhm.
Um, and so they just came out. Like Havoc had a bunch of unreleased Prodigy verses, so Infinite came out with incredible record. They had features from Nas and lots of other cats, and so um, kind of a bit of a segue. But yeah, it was. I didn't really realize how important that was um, at the time. To be completely honest, I was just happy to be a part of doing some shows. Obviously, like I knew who Mobb Deep was and I knew how important they were to hip hop, but actually being there and enjoying it, um, and like actually seeing them like on stage, like in person, was an incredible moment. Like you hear them on the mic. I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous. Yeah, it's just like oh, okay, like, and everyone went crazy, right? There's been a lot of full circle moments like that where, um,
Ugh, gives me goosebumps.
yeah, like I look back on it and they're like just incredible memories to have. Like, yeah, no, like no one else my age was getting invited to do opportunities like that at my age. So it was like I felt incredibly special and like it meant a lot to me to be a part of that time because yeah, it was big deal. It was really really big deal. So yeah, it's special, right? And I mean there was more special moments, but that was the first special moment. Um, yeah, Mob Deep, right? It was a big deal. So
So
I keep that with me everywhere I go.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just
No,
to
no, it's totally cool.
be honored in such a way with music after, uh, not speaking until you were 5, I mean, that alone is actually a really beautiful thing that I think holds a lot of weight because, that would be, it might not have carried throughout your life, but I can't imagine going, as a parent being like, oh, my child isn't talking right now. Like, school is coming around, these things are happening, and you like want them to be like where everybody else is with, all of like the standards. And then at 19, like you finish off your adolescence before you hit your 20s, being on stage with like these industry giants. It makes me actually emotional even to think about, because not only is it an accomplishment in its own right, but then to think about where it started, it just feels even more impactful and important.
Yeah, it is for sure. Like essentially I was just a guy rapping with my homies, and then yeah, like someone like Surreal spotted me, QB spotted me, Cynic spotted me, Karma spotted me, and so it was like they're like, we think this guy has something that can contribute to the music scene, which I obviously feel honored to be a part of. So being invited on that, it was incredible for me. Like it was a super special moment, and there's been lots of special moments, but that was the first like notable moment. It's like, okay, like this is what I want to do. I've always wanted to do music. I've always written music, always sang. The rapping was kind of a secondary and a new thing for me at that time, but it became something that that people look forward to having me do, and so it's nice to be a part of really special nights like that. So one of many.
One of many, because
yeah.
Your relationship with Surreal is something that took you all the way to the Junos, like.
Yeah, well, a Juno nomination for Song of the Year, yeah, for sure.
I don't care who takes it. Listen, I talk about it all the time on here. I don't really give a shit what happens after the fact, right? Because
Yeah,
there's a little bit of politics involved, and that it is what it is. But
yeah,
because it can happen to somebody that's the person next door. I grew up on the West Coast, so to me it's a big deal, and I keep seeing these names doing these things, and I'm just like, wait a second, like it is possible. These things are attainable. These kids
yeah,
that
definitely.
grew up in the trailer park or whatever, like they can actually like keep those notebooks going, keep scribbling down those ideas, like hang out with your
Yeah.
friends. Don't be embarrassed about what it sounds like, and just keep practicing, because there really is a future out there. There can be a future out there.
Yeah, yeah. Those. I mean, those things are attainable. The thing is like I always put all my focus was always into music, whether it was listening to music, whether it was writing music, whether it was recording music or performing music or playing instruments. So I knew like eventually I would find some sort of place in that. Like Um, I didn't really care if people thought I belonged there or not. I knew that I had something to contribute to music, and so like regardless on if they wanted me there or not, I would have done it. Like even if I wasn't involved in the Mob Deep show, even if I wasn't asked to come back, like I knew that I would just always do it because it's what I love and it's what makes me happy. So
Isn't that the truth? I always picture like the dude with the hatchback open, like selling CDs out the back, and like that's just such a standard to the hustle of the
yeah,
industry, right? It's like, trying to convince everybody to buy it. It's like, oh, come on. And it's always like your friend's brother or something. You're like, dude, like what is going on here? But
yeah,
every once in a while you hit like a banger, and then it's which convinced us to keep like saving our pennies and buying those albums out of the trunks from random artists. So I don't know. Thank you for
even if we
contributing
just
to
got that.
the
Yeah, even if we
industry,
just got that one track, right? Like I just even if that one track that I wanted to bump, if I just save up my money, if I take all the change when my mom asked me to go to the store and go get her milk and bread and just save that and not buy candy for a couple of weeks, and then maybe I could get it, right? So
Oh, I remember saving up for Dr. Dre 2001. Listen, I bought that album twice because somebody decided to thief it up, and like
such a
that
good
was
album.
right. And it was like, but that one was like 20, it was like that one was like $20 or something like that. And that felt
Yeah,
massive. Like, yeah, that felt like so much money back then. And trying not to
so
scratch
many
it.
crazy features and like Scott Storch too. Like I feel like people didn't really recognize him really at that time, but like when you do like the research of what was really happening behind the music, like
He was in
Dr. Dre, like
everything.
they had a meeting and he was like, play something for me, right? Like Scott Storch, like I don't know if you've ever seen like interviews of him when he first met Dre. He was like heavily involved in producing that record, and he's like, oh, okay, I can just I'll meet up with you. Can you play something for me? He goes into Dre's studio. He's like, play me something. Plays him something. He's like, here is a stack of money. Here's the studio. Make as many beats as you can, and I don't need you going anywhere. And it's just like crazy. Like from then on, like he was Dr. Dre's main producer for so long, right? Like countless hits, right? It's like, here's money, here's a studio, make beats. You're not going anywhere.
It's funny when you sat down. That was my first like impression of you, was him. But not that like maybe you guys don't have that much in common. Obviously, like maybe you do though. Like you do when it comes to like
Yeah.
maybe your position in a space. But yeah, it's wild because a lot of people don't even know where the culture really came from, right? And it's why I like find it interesting when people are like, "Oh, Eminem's the first." Da, da, da." It's like, dude, you obviously have no idea what those studios look like. Actually, it had nothing to do with any of that stuff. Like it was a culture thing. It wasn't a race thing. And musically, like you had to have everybody in there to make sounds like that come out of something. Like you had to have a eclectic crew to make that sound. But that there is sounds on that album that will always resonate, that will break a room, that will get everybody moving. For me anyways, I obviously feel passionate about it, but it's for me like that's the album that introduced me to everybody.
There's no denying it was a hot record for sure.
Yeah, totally. Well, who else? I mean, you said that you really didn't get into like hip hop until later on. Like, who are the artists that inspired you the most when you were starting to find who you were?
Oh God, so many. Yeah, I really took a pretty big interest into producers and record collectors. Like I started collecting records when I first started rapping, and so I was really interested in how a lot of those records were made. So I took a pretty big interest in the producers and sampling and collecting records. But definitely Nas, Biggie Smalls. I loved Action Bronson. I really liked Mac Miller. I really liked Copyright. Who else? Oh God, just like a lot of underground cats as well too that like don't necessarily get that much love, but I mean those are like the big ones. I really like Bronson. I really like Freddie Gibbs. Really like Nas. Those are ones that I'm like, damn, they're nasty with it, and they can just like they can really move around on the track. You know, whether it's like I don't know, they keep you entertained, and you always just want to come back and just listen. Like I would just repeatedly listen to like Action Bronson, Dr. Lecter. I remember hearing that, and that was wild. And just being so blown away by just how infectious his voice was, right? And then there was the whole him and Ghostface beefing, and then you sound like me, and I'm the OG. I'm from Wu-Tang. So who do you think you are? And I don't know. Yeah, I think they eventually made up, but yeah, I was big on Bronson, big on Nas, big on Mac Miller, Jay-Z for sure. I mean, I should have maybe made a list, but those are definitely the main ones.
I mean, I guess my point is that
Classified too for sure in high school. Sorry,
well,
so someone my friend commented down there.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah, Classified was I bumped Hitchhiking music. Hitchhiking music was great. I mean, Classified he's nasty with it, and he's Canadian too. So
yeah, he is. Yeah, yeah, he's another standard. What does it make you feel when you think that like people listen to your music in the same way that you listen to other people's music?
Oh, I wouldn't put that idea in my head. I mean, I'm great. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't compare myself to those. I mean, it's not because I don't have the same influences they do, but they really have influenced generations to express themselves and just be fearless and to just make their art no matter what. Like just to not stop creating. Like I would say that there are definitely some people who I've influenced who have like because I've spoke with them like there's this guy named I think he goes by a different name now, but initially he went by Surreal, and he goes, oh, he's always listening to you, and if it wasn't for you like making music back in the day, I would have never picked up a mic. And yeah, he's a great individual, Anthony Barrell, and the Kane Hendersons and the like Quesos and and some other cats in Enamel because they were some years younger than me, but they were like, oh, this guy is like, he's singing, he's rapping, he's doing shows, like that means like if I try and do this, that it's possible. But I mean, on a larger scale, I mean, I can't say that any big cats were influenced on me. That's I won't give myself that. But there's definitely some underground like local artists who have been like, yo, like I've seen you doing it, and I've tried doing it, and like now they're getting on and stuff too, right? So, yeah, it's tough to say. I don't know.
But that is so valuable, and I feel like it's almost more valuable. Like, not to take away from any of those artists. Obviously, they're the standards, and we love them, and they're
Yeah,
worshipped all across the globe, and their contribution to the music industry like goes without saying. I mean,
yeah,
that's a no-brainer. But I do feel that when people are not that far away and they're out there grinding and the people can see them, it inspires in a different sort of way. It inspires,
Mhm.
which is why I said that with such confidence, because I know I know the people that are coming out to the shows, you know what I mean? I know the people that are like paying attention to artists such as yourself. And it's a
Mhm.
different type of inspire, right? It's a different type of sweat equity, and it's a different type of like admiration. And so yeah, just like
Mhm.
take your flowers, man, because it
Yeah.
all adds up to something that's bigger than us, right? And
Mhm.
the island's not that big, but you guys have been doing it for for a while. And anyone that's making money at
Yeah.
it, you know, because there's amazing artists that go
Mhm.
their whole life as music being their second job. And you can't say
Yeah.
that because that isn't your reality. You were making straight coin off the music industry, right?
Yeah, I was pretty lucky that I was in a position. Well, this is before music kind of got flooded with Sony because Sony people are able to rap, and so many people rap these days, right? And so there are so many people wanting to make music a good job that it is a lot harder for people to make music a job. Whereas when I was like when I was 19 to like 24, like I had businesses approaching me like three dispensaries, like, yo, like, hey, we'll sponsor you. Like, I had 7 or 8 different companies like Smoke Zone and Trees Dispensary and painting companies, and Lucid sponsored me. Like, I had a clothing line,
Yeah.
and they were selling my clothing on consignment, and like they weren't really giving me bread, but I was making money off them because they were selling my clothing for me. Like, I had a clothing brand. I was being paid to record music and do shows from like 19 to like 24, and so yeah, like I was in that wave before stuff really got flooded. Whereas like I was a young, like up and coming artist who, yeah, like I was fearless. Like I didn't care if people, you know, said like, oh, like it's not worth it to follow your dreams, or like even if I just didn't care what people had to say. Like I only hung around and associated myself with people who were willing to help me establish and create, you know, like what I did back then and what I'm doing now. Like
Mhm.
I wasn't afraid to like stand up for what I believed in. Like music has always been something that I feel strongly about, and so a lot of people recognize that and were willing to support it. So it was good. It was really really good for me. Like I love that. So
Well, then, okay, so bring me to the hiatus if you don't mind, because we did put it in the bio, and then Calico and I had a chat about what that would look like for, if we were going to do that for ourselves. And I got it brought up in my class today. We were talking about like we talked about a whole lot, but we talked about like, men's mental health specifically, and like what that looks like, even just changing industries, and how it contributes
mm-hmm.
to how social media contributes to like even like our attention span. And you made the choice, well, maybe not intentionally, but there was
Yeah, I
there,
still made the choice though.
but there was a
Yeah,
choice there, right? And where
yeah,
you weren't on social media for like 5 years, like that's a long time.
yeah. Close to the. Oh, hey, so there's my girlfriend who's making din din.
Hi.
It is. Yeah, it was. I wasn't on social media for closer to 5 years. Yeah. Um, and yeah, like at the time, I was like, oh no, like I'm losing like music connections, like I'm losing contact with other artists and promoters and companies and people that I should be connecting with. But it was also at a time where COVID was happening, right? So I mean, not having like I went from not having I didn't have a Facebook, I didn't have an Instagram, didn't have a Snapchat, didn't have an email, didn't have a cell phone. So I mean, it kind of made you realize that there is like a whole face-to-face world out there that has nothing to do with social media that still goes on and on. So, hold on one second. These songs are so relatable to the fact I know you and know we've gone through. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's my friend Vanessa. She's wonderful.
Hey, Vanessa.
Hey, Vanessa.
Shout out to Vanessa. Yeah, girl.
Hey, Vanessa. Yeah, she's a wonderful human being. Yeah, I know that. I appreciate that. But yeah, like, it made me realize that like a lot of that stuff is just not really that important. Like we put this big value in it that like, oh, like if this many people like my stuff, or if they react to like, well, this is before reacting. Anyways, when I was on social media before, there was no reacting. It was
Right.
either you liked it or you commented on it, which is crazy, right? Like I'm like kind of, I feel old saying that, but I'm not. I'm like older, but
no, we're the same
yeah,
age.
which is
I
good.
specifically remember doing
Oh,
that. Oh yeah, 100%.
oh yeah, so you know then. You remember when it was just a like and a comment. There was nothing
Betty, I had
else.
MySpace. Like, yeah, I had MSN Messenger.
Yeah.
Like, we're the
Oh,
same.
I do remember adding MSN Messenger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was like, oh my god, that was like 2006 for me. Oh my god. Because how else would you contact people? It was a landline, or it was MSN Messenger, or Nextopia. If you remember Nextopia.
Nextopia, yeah, I never did open up an account, but my friends like fucked me right up over that stuff. Like I always, I shouldn't say I always had a spot to go to, but they thought I did. And yeah, I had a couple like birthdays where the cops shut it down. There was like they were threatening us with like 220 bucks per person that was there, and there was like people like from one fence line to the other. Yeah, people used, because you would just like make a post and stuff, and like people didn't care. They'd put your address and shit in there, like everybody got to be here. And then yeah, a couple of times it got right
like,
wily. Right?
so many people are here.
Yeah.
No, it's what was that? What's that movie with Generation or something X or whatever?
I don't know if I've seen that, but
well, baby, what's that movie? What's that movie about the big party? Something X? What is it? Project X.
Project X.
Do you remember that movie? And then they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have the biggest party, and then like thousands of people show up, and
oh my
the
gosh,
cops are there, and their parents come home from vacation early, and they're like, no. Anyways.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple of times. Like I got in a lot of trouble, yeah. But it's just the way that MSN Messenger worked, right? Because if someone would make a post, like if someone talked about it, like it wasn't like now where you can like edit it and go back and change some stuff. It was like once the information was out there, it was out there, right? And there was no slowing it down. It wasn't like,
you can't pull it or edit it.
No. And you didn't know really who had it. Whereas now you can like, oh, so-and-so commented, oh, that's nice. Or so-and-so shared it. Like there's kind of a bit more of a paper trail. Back then it was just like, it's a fucking wild, wild west, pardon my language, but like, it was really crazy.
Yeah. No, it really was though. It really was.
Yeah.
So the hiatus on so COVID happened, right? So obviously that shut down all the public events. I lost a lot of sponsorship because of that. So there's no really need to pay me to, I mean, there may have been a need to pay me to record music, but there was no need to pay me to do shows. So I lost a lot of sponsors when COVID happened.
Right.
I definitely fell pretty harsh into my addiction, and I was just kind of starting to not care about music because drugs kind of took the forefront, and it was just like, well, I knew that it was, knowing that all the public events were going to be shut down, there were limitations on how many people could be in a public space. It was like, well, like me, the biggest part about doing music is like performing. For like, I enjoy writing music, I enjoy recording the music, I enjoy performing music. So all of those I enjoy equally, because they all give me different things. They all equally make me feel great. But like not being able to perform at like a public event, it was kind of like, damn. And then also getting addicted to like street drugs, and then like like not having any access to social media. It was just like I was just in the forefront, and then I was just gone. So I mean that was kind of a wild thing. And then I don't even know. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to imagine like being somebody and being important and having like your day-to-day so carved out, like, okay, this is what the expectation of you as an artist is, which means that our expectation as of a person needs to follow something along those lines. And then all of a sudden just kind of getting like sucked into the background of your former existence. I'd imagine that would be pretty challenging? Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. I would say it was pretty difficult. Yeah, the hardest moments of my life for sure was like, I'm the youngest artist in my city who's being paid to record and do shows. I'm doing shows with like Mobb Deep and like Wu-Tang Clan and Royce the 5'9" and R.A. the Rugged Man and Devin the Dude and Stomp Down, like I mean, all the Stomp Down killers like Evil Ebenezer, Mercury, Confidential,
Hmm.
Smack the Ripper, yeah, and then from going from that. Oh, and also Bender. I actually booked a tour with Bender before he passed away, which was kind of wild. He was like one of the most iconic, um, like battle rappers from Canada, like that I feel like deserves to have more credit. And that was a pretty magical experience. But yeah, I went from that to being like, okay, now I'm like sitting in a trap house, like doing street dope with like, you know, and realizing that I have all this talent to like go and record and perform, and I'm like being kind of barriers are being put on it because I'm losing sponsors, and now there's no public events, and now it's like, what is the point in doing music? Yeah, I love doing it, but when I was doing dope, you don't really feel like doing music. So, like for me, it was like if I was like doing music, it was like that's all I ever cared about. But when the drugs took the forefront, it didn't allow me to like actually truly make genuine, authentic music. Like it took me away from who I was, who I felt as a human being. So then getting back to that, it took a really, really long time, like 9 treatment centers, uh, lots of meetings. I don't even know. Like, yeah, it was like a pretty wild experience. And then it's only been like I'm coming up on 14 months. Like no drugs, no alcohol. On the 8th would be 14 months. So yeah, it was
Congratulations,
like
my guy. Massive
appreciate that.
congratulations. Yeah, massive, massive.
Yeah, it was a pretty harsh road, right? Like I had to not gonna like dwell on it, but like yeah, like getting a place, like living in abandoned houses, living on the street, living in my truck, um, lots of situations that constantly compromise my safety, like being in survival mode 24/7, like um, doing street drugs to the point where like there's infections in my legs and I'm dragging myself to the hospital to get antibiotics, and as soon as I leave the hospital from getting medical attention, then I'm right back to doing street dope again and doing the exact same drugs that just put me in the hospital, and it's like just being so helpless, right? And lost and confused, and then you know realizing like yeah, I would rather be doing music, like, but just like seeing that through, it seemed like such a long shot. I went from like being here to like being like, whoa, like I might not ever do music again. Like my safety is compromised. I'm unhoused. I haven't eaten, in weeks or months, and I have no money, and now I don't really have any support. And the only people I associate myself with people who do dope, and so um, they were always like, "Oh, it's Morgan Murray," like word, but like they didn't know me when I was like actually doing it for my job. They see my music videos and they hear my songs, and oh, it's Morgan Murray, but really they're just people who are willing to sit in my misery with me while I'm doing street dope, right? But it's mostly in the past. I mean, just because like I'm in recovery now, right? So my life is I'm anyone who I associate myself with now, like there's a kitten. There's a kitten, right? We're fostering 2 kittens and we have a cat. So yeah, the only people in my life now are like they're all in recovery, right? I go to meetings, um, talk to my sponsor. My girlfriend's in recovery. She took her 1 year in July.
Massive
And
congratulations to her too.
yeah, she says congratulations, baby. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so our whole circle are people who are in recovery who are choosing life today, right? Like that's what the biggest thing is that we choose life. Yes, we don't drink or do drugs, but we're choosing life when we make that decision, right? So that's the whole thing.
Yeah, we hashtag ODAT a lot actually, like hashtag one day at a time, hashtag end stigma,
Mm.
hashtag we do recover, hashtag like because
Yeah.
it takes everybody to get out there and to talk about it and to end stigma. And I think that's probably the quickest shot to trying to get people out of this epidemic that we seem to be in, right? And it's really,
Hmm.
yeah, it's heartbreaking because I feel like maybe now more than ever is it's less and less the individual's fault. And I know that's a controversial thing to say and people can get upset in the comments or whatever, but um we now know
Hmm.
a little bit of the history behind like Purdue and stuff like that, so it's a little bit different than maybe it once was. And I'm not saying that that was your story. I'm not sure, but Misery looks a little bit differently than nowadays than it once did, and so I think it's important for us
Yeah,
to
of
get out
course.
there and like talk about it. But even then, like you know what, it never really dawned on me. And I don't know why I've gone this long without actually having this thought, which is wild considering my job is to talk to musicians in recovery, um,
Hmm.
or that are navigating mental health stuff. But when you have music videos that highlight you in a different light than to what is true to you, like what the hell was that like? Because people are like, "Yo, what's good? What's good?" And then they get to you like, I don't know exactly what maybe you looked like in active addiction, but um I like I don't even know what the question is here other than like that I would imagine that would add another level of heartbreak on top of what you were going through, right? Because not everybody has like videos of
Hmm.
themselves being played in the background of spaces or whatever, right? Or like being recognized. So they
Hmm.
can kind of go into to their um to their active addiction without being compared to anything other than maybe the for
Hmm.
themselves. There's no like, yeah. I don't know what my question was, but I guess I've gone like this long without ever thinking about what that would look like. Like someone just
Yeah.
seeing you, on YouTube and then they get to you and they're like, "Oh shit, okay. Wait a second." Like, yeah. Congratulations on
Well,
making it out of that, man. Holy fuck. Pardon my
yeah,
language.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Just to put into perspective, like I
Mhm.
was sitting in a trap house one day in the middle of my active addiction, and people was doing dope, but they had no idea that I made music because I didn't really talk about it because it was like because I so desperately missed when it was my job and it was my life and it was everything that I did had to do with music, and then going from that to, well, I'm doing street dope in a trap house. Like I remember I was like, yo, they're like, oh, I didn't know that you made music. Like, can I see one of your videos? And I put on Up Up and Away. They're like, oh my god, that's you. Like, oh my god, he's so talented. Like they're like, oh my god, like they like couldn't believe it, right? Because I those situations I didn't feel it was necessary to like to sing or to rap or to like tell them that I did, right? Because I went from it being my job and my whole entire outlook, and then that was obviously not. So they're like, oh my god, like you're so good. Like why didn't you tell us sooner? And it's like, well, I kind of like I don't really feel so great about my current situation, and it's like not something that I can like respectfully like show you and be like proud of myself for, because like going from that to like this and like, well, no, this shit's like so dope. Like you should have shown me sooner. And it's like I only have actually like one. I have like one video, I guess, where yeah, where I was in active addiction, where I recorded a song with one of my producers, and he didn't know that I was in active addiction, but I don't think it's on YouTube. I think it's like on Facebook, but he was like, "Yo, like, what's up?" Like, my producer was like, "Hey, like, I need you to record and write a couple of hooks for me or whatever. Like, would you want to come over?" I'm like, "Yeah, word." So I go over, and then I end up recording it, right? Like, writing it, recording it, and then he's like, "Oh, do you care if I take like a small little clip or whatever so I can post on my Facebook?" I'm like, "Yeah, word, sure." And then I remember my mom being like, "Yo, like, you look so bad, dude." This is like 60 pounds ago, right?
Mom
Like,
comes in with the truth. She's
my
like,
mom's
"No."
like, "Oh, dude, you shouldn't have done that. Like, oh, you look so bad." But I was like, not thinking about it at the time. I was just like happy to be doing music because that was like my first like crack at it again after like not doing it for a long time. So I was just like happy to be doing music again because that's what I love doing. And it was weird, obviously, because
Mhm.
it's not as fun as you would think. Writing and recording music with the people that you love and respect when you're high on street drugs. But he didn't know at the time. Or else
Right.
I think he would have been like, "Yo, maybe this isn't the time." But like, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to wreck the opportunity. But anyways, it's in the past now. But yeah, it was. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate that. Yeah, my. Oh yeah, my. I guess you can't really talk about the hiatus without talking about the things I did before then, like raising money for cancer, like doing shows like Mob Deep, Royce the 5'9", R the Rugged Man, Devin the Dude, um, all the Sundown Killers, like those. Like it went from that to like, yeah, there was a big hiatus, but I don't know. I'm back doing what I love. Like this year, um, I got out of treatment and moved in with my girl, and I got a job right away. I started doing service in a home group, and I had like a couple of tracks written, but I just started writing music every day. I started landscaping, and just when I wasn't at work, I was writing music. And just I wanted my new music to sound nothing like my previous music. Not that there's anything wrong with my previous music. Everybody loves it. Everybody loved it, but
Mhm.
I wanted some. I wanted to get some producers that no one really had out here, because it's a common thing that a lot of people from the music scene, they go to similar producers, or they go to similar engineers. So I started getting alternative rock instrumentals from producers in Italy and Croatia,
Oh,
and
that's so cool.
yeah, like I wanted my music to sound different than previously, right? So people have always said, "Oh, you're so much better at singing than rapping." And I'm like, word, thanks. It's kind of like, well, not the greatest compliment, but whatever. Because I'm great at both. But I was like, I respect that you said that. I would rather someone tell me the truth. So I made, I wrote, recorded a whole singing album. My producer QB recorded me, and then I would send all of my individual recordings and all the instrumental stems to my engineer in Vancouver, Corbin Parker. He's absolutely amazing. If you ever want to recommend someone for musical engineering, he is amazing. He graduated from Nimbus School of Recording Arts. He has a $60,000 musical engineering degree. He is absolutely amazing at what he does. So he's who mixes and masters my music, and
Sorry,
then
what
that's
was
where
his
like
name?
my new
Just real quick.
Corbin Parker,
Corbin
Corbin
Parker.
Parker.
Shout out
Yeah,
to Corbin
yeah.
Parker. Yeah. Well, and QB, and
He,
yeah.
yeah. So if you're gonna have someone else on your podcast, I would definitely have on Facebook. It's Curb the Kid. His Facebook before that was, you can find him on Instagram, on Facebook, Curb the Kid. He's from Vancouver, and he's absolutely insanely talented. He
Heck
produces,
yeah.
he engineers, he is heavily involved in the Vancouver music scene. So he mixed and mastered Gypsy Queen, Find My Way, No Idea, like all of these newer releases of all my newer tracks I've released. He's mixed and mastered them all, and people are like, dude, it sounds so amazing. And it's like, yeah, it's my voice plus his engineering plus these European producers. It's just something different that like I really wanted to just bring something different to the island, because a lot of people will, like, just me myself anyways, I was making the similar music for a long time. I would write a rap verse, I would write a singing chorus, I would write a rap verse, singing chorus. Song was done, get it to my engineer, which for a long time was QB. Love him, he's great at what he does.
Yep.
But I wanted to just switch it up a little bit, and just I didn't want to write about the same material. I wanted to write about more conscious things. I wanted to go to European producers. I wanted to go to Corbin, because Corbin is an incredible individual, and I met him when I was in recovery in Vancouver, and I stayed in touch with him. And yeah, he means a lot to me. He's helped me a lot through this journey, and um, yeah, he continues to help me, right? And yeah, yeah, he's a wonderful individual. I'm grateful to have him in my life. He's also in recovery as well.
I have such respect for the artists that are also doing recovery content. I don't really like calling that because it's just music, right? Like it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter what the content of the music is about. But I do really appreciate this like new kind of wave of artists that are making sure that they're including it in their music because it's a really great
Hmm.
gateway and conversation piece. It's like, and it yeah, I guess, for the history of especially hip hop, it was the other way around. We glamorized, slanging and banging and all this crazy shit. And then,
Yeah.
when it came to like maybe what the realities of that were, other than a couple of cuts by like maybe Tupac, no one was really talking about it. And they certainly weren't talking about ways to get better, right? No one was talking about
Hmm.
like, hey, I'm part of this, 12-step program and this is how you can go and these are the links on where you can come and hang out with us and Sober Fest and all these other
Oh,
stuff,
I
right?
just
Like,
realized something. I totally just broke anonymity with my buddy Corbin. He probably won't care, but what have I done? That's like literally like anonymity is a spiritual, anyways. Because you're not supposed to say
oh,
people's last names, and I feel terrible. But he's also a person of interest because I work closely with him. Sorry, buddy. I love you.
yeah, we
That was
appreciate
totally
it.
my bad.
You know what? Transparency saves lives, and I do respect what you're saying. Obviously, like
Mm.
that is the oldest rule, especially when we're talking about fellowship. But we were
Mm.
talking about something else right before that, and so it wasn't
Yeah, yeah.
necessarily like, yeah. Um, But transparency does save lives. And you know what? You never know who is watching and who might be inspired by that. Not to excuse, that, but at the same time, like there really is people out here, and there really is people that don't understand where to like turn, or they don't want to do it because this, the stigma is too great, and they're like, man, I don't even know how to start, or what to start, or it's not cool, or whatever. And when they hear that you can be an artist, or be a producer, or be a singer songwriter, whatever, right, and still be prioritizing your health, I think it's super important.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
I'm smelling dinner. It's like, damn,
Yeah.
Baby, can you pass me the VAPE? I don't know why I'm spelling it like that. So I don't know. I'm asking for yours.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I don't know. I don't know where it is. I want it. I just want it. But do you have more questions?
Yeah, I guess.
I have a couple.
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I do. So what does that, I guess my first question is specific to recovery. And do you feel like your music is like better? Was it harder to come back? Like how do you feel about your music now? Obviously you said like, you're looking for a different sound than what other people on the on the island have going. But how do you feel about like just the process of making music and not having like the traditional coping mechanisms that maybe you would before sobriety or recovery, I should say, not sobriety, but recovery?
Yeah, sobriety, clean time.
Yeah, much of the same.
Whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Well, at first I was kind of like, the hip hop head of me was like, damn, I feel like my lyrics are too well, because my whole thing is I didn't want to swear on the album. Not that like I don't agree with swearing or that I don't swear. I definitely swear, but I'm 30. I'll be 31 next month. So a lot of my friends have kids, and I wanted. Oh yeah, next week. Yeah, I'll be 31 next week.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I wanted my friends' kids to be able to like listen to it, and obviously not promote like anything like explicit or any bad behavior, or promote like drug use or anything like that. So the whole thing was, like, my life has changed a lot, right? Like I'm a different person now because I don't drink or use drugs. So I figured that I would I would just write music that I know that my friends' kids could listen to, and promote like different subjects like raising awareness for homelessness, and talking about overcoming addiction and getting into recovery, and promote awareness for overdose as well, because we're in a crisis, right? Like especially like Canada, like it's something that I feel strongly about. So I wanted to raise awareness towards it because I have a voice and I'm able to share those things. And I wrote a song for my mom, like Gypsy Queen. Like people really get down with it, and it's getting a lot of love on like on my shows and on my socials and on my streaming platforms. So there's that, and I just wanted to be able to share my story in a way that would be easy for like anyone to kind of process, right? Because like the way I was writing my music before, it was like anyone who was my age or a little bit younger or a little bit older would, but I wanted everyone to be able to listen to it. Like now I have like elderly people who are like, oh my God, I think your music is so great. And like, I don't think my earlier music, they would have been like, yeah, you're talented, but I don't think they would have actually like sat down and listened to it, because I choose to change my writing style so that anybody can listen to it, whether it's like kids, whether it's like parents, whether it's like elderly people. I have people who are like women who are like 70 years old. Like, I think your stuff's amazing. Like, and like that's cool because I made a choice to like write my music differently so that anybody could listen to it. Like not just hip hop heads, not just people who are my age. So to me, I kind of felt like I was restricting myself a little bit, because the inner hip hop head of me was like, write about those things. Dude. Those are things that are relevant to you, but like I wanted to write about things that are relevant for everyone, that everyone could register with and people could relate to. So I got Vanessa on here. Mom loves your music. Earl gets down with it too. That's her song.
Oh my gosh.
Her son likes my music. So
that's beautiful. All inclusive, all ages events. We need to raise more awareness around that, because we don't have like the club scene the same way that artists used to, where you could go in and you'd meet the sound guy and you'd meet the the guy at the door, and you'd meet all, the MC, and you would meet everybody, and you would learn, and there was a bit of a community that surrounds that. I feel like we need to
What?
prioritize all ages events in
Yeah.
the same way. Sorry.
Oh,
But
sorry. Just here,
yeah, it's all good.
see this right here. I'm totally listening still, but look.
Oh,
Spot twin kitten. So look at the little boo boos, and she just jumped up on me. No, sorry, I'm still listening. Yeah.
no, it's fine. That cat
Yeah, well,
literally looks like a calendar picture.
I know, right? It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, like I've been doing all ages shows for a long time, and like I've always been in a place where I can censor my music. Like even when I was writing about explicit things, I always had like sub outs for things. So I only really have like a couple of explicit songs, and they're only in a couple of lines of my songs. So I would censor just those parts because I like being given the opportunity to go and do all ages shows because because it means a lot to me, and I want everybody to be able to listen to my music, obviously. So even in my earlier stuff, there's only a couple lines where I had to like change like swear words or some explicit things, and that's fine. So I've always been able to kind of accommodate that. I've done some all ages shows this year and that's okay. I did exactly what I did on the other all ages shows. I just subbed out a couple of words and to make it so that if there are children listening, I don't want them to hear like extremely explicit stuff because that's not really fair to them. They came there to see a show, and I feel like if you don't have the ability to do that, don't accept doing all age shows. Kids don't want to hear you talk about extremely explicit, inappropriate things in your songs, right? So it's a helpful tool to have. Not everybody wants it because when any artist writes a song, how they wrote that song and the message they're portraying in that song, they don't really want to change those things. And I get that creative input of being an artist, but for me, I feel like it is a very, very useful tool to be able to censor your stuff, especially if there's kids listening and stuff. Like they don't want to hear about extremely inappropriate, explicit things. So I feel like some artists would be like, that's like me damping down my sound or damping down my creative, and they're fine. They have every reason to feel that way. Me personally, I still want them to hear my music no matter what. So I will take the time to censor those things or sub out a couple words so that they can still hear 98% of the message of my music and not have to hear the inappropriate things or explicit things. Like, because it's not like every song I'm not talking about inappropriate things, but there's definitely one in particular. It's called Pimpish Binoculars. It's one of my bigger tracks. Is from my first album, Digger's Delight, and I was 20 years old, and I wasn't really thinking at the time about how that would, but at the time I censored it then. I'll censor it now because everybody should have the opportunity to hear my music regardless of what I'm saying. I'll take the time to censor it because that's the right thing to do. I'm not trying to talk about inappropriate things and children around. That's not. I don't respect that. So.
I respect you. I'm a mom. I've been a mom since before I was actually a mom. Like we grew up in a situation where like maybe our friends had kids too early or whatever. And so, I respect that heavy.
Yeah.
I think it's really neat of you to be able to prioritize that. Obviously, awareness on any aspect is really important, but specifically when it's like, I'm going to make music that everybody can listen to and that you can bring your kids to the shows, and like to be family at the core is, I respect that so heavy. You have no idea. I was like trying to like not get emotional about it because I don't hear that very often, right? I hear like, this is for me and this is what I'm doing, and it is very therapeutic for the person writing it. But when there's that much consideration put into the people who are going to be consuming it, I commend you and applaud you for it because it's just a beautiful thing. And as a mom, I respect it on a different level. We don't create enough spaces for kids to understand the entertainment industry from a I don't know what the word is here, productive place. They see it as like instant gratification, or they see it as, it's not like, and not all. I mean, obviously you prioritize it, and there is, a lot of great festivals and stuff, but in a whole, we don't hear people talk about it very much. So it's very refreshing to hear somebody say that.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for doing
that.
Thank
you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's big. And before we go, I want to touch on some of the things that you really do think that we need to talk more about when it comes to awareness. I heard you say overdose awareness was one Yeah, what are the topics? So I'm going to make sure that we hashtag them properly, but also so people know, like, some things that they could maybe focus a little bit more on, or you know I was going to say festivals. My mind is just on Soberfest so hard today. But yeah, maybe that there's things that they can do in their day to day that don't cost anything that would also bring awareness to some of these topics. So, yeah. So, what are the ones that you find important?
Well, as being someone who used to be homeless and addicted to toxic street drugs, like I respect harm reduction. I value harm reduction. I value people who raise awareness for homelessness. People who value taking time to like speak to counselors or like to mental health and stuff like that too, right? Like our mental health is important. Lessening stigma around addiction, and I mean those are big ones for me, right? Like because you don't really know until you're in that position, right? And then you realize you're the person who's being looked down on, right? That um it's one thing to be having to always worry about your own safety and your own survival, and then when you see people like I was in the bank the other day, and there was a lady who was at the start of the lineup, and she was nodding out in the lineup, and the bank teller said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I can help you." And I gently tapped her on the shoulder and was like, "Excuse me, like the bank teller can help you now." She's like, "Oh, sorry, thank you so much." And everyone in the bank looked at me and gave me a dirty look, and then started laughing at her, as if this person is not going through the worst time in their whole life. This is someone's son or daughter. This is someone's mother. This
Yeah.
is someone like this is someone who is in the worst part of their life.
Yeah.
Who I didn't know you were going to be on this podcast. Okay, thank you, Chris. Yeah, someone who is going through the worst possible situations in their life, who does not need to add that to the way that they're living, right? Like, this is someone who this is a human being. Like I promote treating people like human beings because human beings deserve respect no matter what situation or what lifestyle they have. That's something I believe in. So that's what I want to raise awareness for, is just treating people like compassion. Exactly. It goes a long way. So, my dad's commenting on it.
Hey, yeah, shout out to everybody in the comments. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Vanessa, Dad, there's a bunch of really cool people in there that are chatting it up with each other. You guys take advantage of the comment section too. You guys can drop your sober dates in there. We always love to see those. And drop your hashtags, drop your your nonprofits or whatever you want us to know about. We're not shy in the comments at all. We love to know what everybody's doing. So go ahead. And also Calico's in there. She's got hashtag 988. We really promote the suicide awareness hotline. We can't help people if they're not here. And I feel the same way about overdose awareness. Yeah. To me, the biggest piece of harm reduction is like just creating enough safety to then be able to have the conversations to hopefully move them in the right direction, right? We're human beings. And what you're saying about the chick in the bank is just like that's somebody's baby. And honestly, that's one twisted ankle. You're one twisted ankle away from being like that. I think people don't really understand like the seriousness of like what's actually happening in the streets, right? We're like one paycheck away from being in these positions, and
Exactly.
it's really easy to walk past them and not necessarily want to like deal with it, and that's fine. You're entitled to your safety and your freedom and your opinion. That's cool, but it's way flipping cooler to be empathetic and understanding and kind, right? It doesn't take any energy to do any of those things.
It costs $0 to be a decent human being.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a bad idea. So
yeah.
before we go, there's just a few people in the comments that I really want to. Hi Tammy, thank you for supporting. Hi Vanessa, hi Calico, Dad, Becky Rogers, thank you everyone. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I want to value compassion. I want people to be treated with respect. We're all human beings walking this earth. And thank you for the opportunity. I'm smelling my dinner right now, and it smells absolutely delicious, and I want to eat that. sounds
Yeah, it's
amazing. So
It's time to get out of here for sure. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And like I said earlier, you guys use hashtag 988 if suicide is on your mind. The other thing too, you guys can go ahead and use the Pinecase warm line. It's 250-289-3948. Calico just dropped it in the comments for you guys. That's just us. We're run solely off of love and volunteership. It's 24-hour line. It actually used to be our old trap line. I'm not necessarily going to take responsibility for whose it was, but
oh my God.
yeah. So we turned it
That's
into a warm line that's available to you guys 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Please don't hesitate
Yeah.
to use it. Lean on each other. Take care of each other. You
Yeah.
guys, we will see you next Tuesday. Morgan, Murray, thank you, darling, so much for hanging out. Go enjoy your dinner.
No problem. Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you, Calico. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, take care. Bye for now.
Yep. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
We stay strong. We stay strong. The further you take my vice away, I'ma run to it. Refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now, how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high, but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that decided to never show. Deny my place and back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face. Get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors, running through my veins. With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong. I can see. Run to the light at the end of the tunnel, winner. We stay strong. I can't breathe. We're gonna get oxygen without the justice system. We stay strong. And I know, gotta keep my head together, We stay strong. Don't doubt me, please don't doubt me. We stay strong. Tell me, how can we be strong if we still shooting? Tell me, how can we be strong if we still looting? Tell me, how can we be strong if we still hating? Please tell me now, please.